What's poppin'? Brand new Altszn poppin'. Trade options. Got all these profits they locked in. Just hodling. I'ma spend those crypto when it's topped in. Be a crypto millionaire goddamn. Link in the top there. What up, crypto fam? Crypto is still poppin', man. And it's been a minute since my last video, but this has been fun. Some of these DeFi coins that I've been in have been doing really well, and even some of these proof of stake coins are starting to get some love, like Algo, Waves. They're starting to pop off, and I'm expecting Neo to pop off pretty soon as well. So if you don't have a bag of Neo, I would look into it, just especially because they're not necessarily proof of stake, but they're DBFT, as I've mentioned previously. Super innovative consensus mechanism, and Neo 3.0 is coming out supposedly this year. And in my opinion, they're the closest competitor to Ethereum, and they're going to do well. And just by holding Neo, you accumulate gas. And so I'm looking just at the TA as well. I'm not a TA guy, but I do trade here and there, and it's looking like Neo could pop off decently soon. So DYOR on that one. But yeah, this has been crazy. Yield farming has been insane. I didn't anticipate that really being such a frenzy. When Compound launched, I had been yield farming Comp, and when Basic Attention Token got listed on there with like 30% APY or whatever, or it was like 70 or something, I don't remember, but I had some BAT in there gaining some Comp, and then when YFI, when that launched, I was yield farming that in the Y curve pool, and so at the same time, now that curve is launched as well, CRV, I was also accumulating curve, which is pretty cool. But that has been really insane. I don't really necessarily see that being long term, but it's almost like transaction mining in 2018, where mainly centralized exchanges were launching these exchange tokens in this case, that you could earn by basically trading on the exchange. And this is similar, where you provide liquidity into these markets, and in exchange for providing liquidity and like stable coins or whatever, you will receive this initial distribution. In the case of like YFI, it was just for a week, like 5 days or something like that, and the total distribution of YFI tokens were distributed to the liquidity providers. So it's a lot of initial kind of hype on those type of ones, but for Curve, they're doing a much longer distribution, similar more to like Comp. And with the recent, I didn't get into YAMS, but YAMS launched fairly recently, and then there was like a bug in the code where the governance portion of YAMS wasn't really able to be changed, unfortunately. So they had to scrap out YAMS version 1, as the governance didn't work with that, and now they're doing YAMS version 2, and they actually have quite a few signatures for Gitcoin grant, so they're probably going to end up launching with an audit with that Gitcoin grant, which is pretty cool. that one actually is super innovative in my opinion. It kind of combines ample force rebasing to kind of make it a stable coin with the comp governance structure, and then kind of incorporates like the YFI governance as well, in a sense of like voting and on proposals and stuff like that. So but yeah, it basically locks in a bunch of different coins that you can provide liquidity for, and then the amount that's locked generates the different PMs, and it kind of rebases to try and make it close to $1 worth. So I think version 2 could actually do pretty well. But to be honest, I don't know. It's kind of a whales game, these liquidity provider like governance token mining. So it's really not for everyone, just because of the fees on Ethereum are so high right now. It's insane. We need a scaling solution. It's good to see like some of these scaling solutions start to run. Like Omite Go has really done well. Raiden is starting to do pretty well. I'm waiting to see Matic do really well, because I think they're, in my opinion, they're the best. Them and Omite Go, I think, are the best scaling solutions we have for Ethereum. And Matic is working with like Decentraland and some other. I mean, they're backed by Coinbase Ventures, and they're also I don't know if they're backed by Binance Ventures as well, but Binance supports them on both their Binance US and their Binance normal exchange. So Matic, a lot of people have a sour taste in their mouth after that massive pump. What was that, earlier in this year? And then it just crashed down by like 70% in a day. So that was kind of rough for Matic holders, or people who bought during that peak. But Matic fundamentally, to me, is super solid, and it'll be interesting to see which scaling protocol gets adopted by Reddit. I think it very well could be Matic or Omite Go. I think it's one of the two. And with Vitalik saying that all the USDT tether on Ethereum eventually will get migrated over to Omite Go. I mean, Vitalik is a advisor of Omite Go, and he's not going to not use it. Omite Go is going to be used, and I think we're seeing it starting to pump, because people are starting to realize that even with the release of ETH 2.0, we're going to have off-chain scaling solutions for different things like USDT and for gaming and stuff like that. So, like, even when ETH 2.0 releases fully in like 2021, there's gonna be a need for these scaling solutions. I mean, for basic on-chain DeFi protocols, but probably likely just stay on ETH 2.0. But for things like USDT, for things like gaming, NFTs, those will be on the scaling solutions. So yeah, I have been accumulating some of these scaling solutions like OMG, Matic, and Raiden lately, and Loopring as well, Loopring Pay and Loopring Zcash rollups. That's that's one that Vitalik likes to talk about as well. So I think Vitalik is bullish on it, and they've been doing great things. So I think those will start to have another pump again, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Ethereum itself is due to double really soon here. If Bitcoin keeps on chugging up to 12K, And if it finally breaks through and shoots up to 16K, it might kind of take some life out of these alts, including Ethereum. I don't really know. That's kind of my guess. If it shoots up really quick, that's my prediction. But anytime Bitcoin is consolidating, we see the altcoins skyrocket. And Ethereum's next stop is really 800, in my opinion. That was our previous high in like mid 2018. So we're going back there. And if you think about it, back then in 2017, 2018, the ETH supply pressure, or the ETH demand, was caused by ICOs, right? Like you could really only enter these ICOs with ETH. Well, now with like the rise of all this Uniswap coins that are pumping hard, these brand new alts, and as well as like all these fees that are being generated via like liquidity providers on different DeFi protocols, doing yield farming and all, just anything DeFi where you need to pay ETH transaction fees. I mean, these gas prices are at all-time highs right now, and so that puts actually some buy pressure on ETH as well. So, and I think larger institutions are starting to realize that ETH is here to stay. It's going to be the main player for the next generation of financial protocols and the financial ecosystem. So I'm expecting to see a lot of large players. You know, they've probably already been stealth getting into ETH, but they're going to be publicly getting into ETH. Just like we saw MicroStrategy publicly getting into Bitcoin, 250 million. So look for that, and then I think ETH will easily skyrocket to 800 as long as Bitcoin doesn't dump hard for some reason. But I don't see that happening. I mean, the amount of money the Fed is pumping into this market, as well as the money that different central banks all over the world are pumping into the markets in response to the coronavirus pandemic, economic struggles. They're pumping all the markets because they have to. Unfortunately for them, they don't understand what's going on. Like, the velocity of money is at all-time lows because people are they're hodling dollars. The average people who don't really understand the monetary system are hodling dollars, and so this is making the Fed, continue to want to print because they need that velocity to increase in order for the economy to sustain itself. So look for continued QE all across the world, especially in the U.S., where velocity of money is at all-time lows, or I don't know if it's all-time lows, but it's close to all-time lows, super low. And then you'll see more people like Warren Buffett getting into, exiting stocks or exiting bank stocks and going into gold. So gold and silver, they're going to keep on pumping. Bitcoin's going to keep on pumping. Ethereum's going to keep on pumping. DeFi's going to keep on pumping. Every single cryptocurrency is going to pump. And this is the beginning of the bull run. We're just in the beginning. This is the equivalent of mid-2016, in my opinion, or maybe late 2016. And so as soon as we cross that all-time high of 20K for Bitcoin, which I think will happen by the end of this year, especially they'll continue to pump. The Fed will continue to pump the system with dollars, especially going into the election, because Trump needs the stock market to keep on climbing, and so that's going to definitely continue to happen. There might be some uncertainty in the markets right around late October, early November, in my opinion. So I don't know what's going to happen there. We might see a crash or something slightly, but the Fed is going to continue to pump the markets with dollars no matter who's in office, because either political party, they can't have the economic system collapse on them. It's going to look bad. So they're gonna flood the market with dollars continuously until this Ponzi scheme is done. And so So look for everything to pump. And once Bitcoin crosses 20K, that'll be the equivalent of the beginning of 2017 when Bitcoin crossed 1,000, or like 1,200. And then what did we see? We saw 20x for the rest of the year. A full year of pumpage. So I think we're going to see the same thing happen once Bitcoin crosses 20K. I think we're going to see a full year of pumpage all the way to 300K, and I think we'll see Ethereum pump all the way to 10K plus, 15K maybe, and it's going to be fun. If you don't have your bags packed already, look for dips and buy. In my opinion. Obviously do your own research, but that's what I'm doing. I'm loading up, and I've already loaded up, and it's cool to see like Chainlink, one of my biggest holdings, really pop like this. It's I mean, all of these oracles, Fan Protocol, when I got into that so long ago, Chainlink, when I got into that so long ago, Zap, crushing it. Got into that a while back. That did very, very well. DOS Network, which I put a small bag into, turned into a medium-sized bag for me, and I sold like half of it, maybe actually like 2/3 of it, a little too early. I sold that at like 6 cents. Oh man. But so I should have just taken out my initial investment, but hey, whatever. I'm letting the rest ride, and it's rode pretty well. A new one that's decentralized Oracle solution that recently came onto the Steam at the beginning of this month was DIA, DIA. I did secure a bag of that. That one actually seems to be pretty legit, and I like what they're doing there. I haven't dug in super deep, but I do have a bag of that. And so I think we're gonna look back on this time as so early in the game, and this is gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. So yeah, Teller as well. I forgot about Teller. Man, that thing has done well. And Nexus Mutual, they finally got that listed a couple weeks back on CoinGecko and stuff like that, because they wrapped NXM so it can be freely traded on Uniswap and different other decentralized exchanges. So that thing popped off from like, it was like $3, and then it popped off. Now it's like 28, 29, $30. So that is still one that I think is heavily undervalued, especially with all this DeFi infrastructure. I mean, a lot of it is audited, but there's going to be some bug, and it's going to be some major protocol that has a hack or some sort of malfunctioning, and there's a lot of people that are going to get wrecked on that. Maybe not as bad as like the DAO hack, but I just foresee something bad happening at some point. It's inevitable, and that'll really shine a light on Nexus Mutual Insurance, decentralized insurance for smart contracts. And so, with the amount of total lock value in DeFi just going parabolic right now, Nexus Mutual, it's going to appreciate, because if any large, respectable institution is getting into these smart contracts, they're going to take insurance out. They have to. So, and just normal people or whales that are doing it, if they're smart, they're going to take out some insurance. So, stake your NXM if you got it, and you can get some gains off of that. That thing is doing well. I'm still super bullish on DXDAO. I don't think anyone else is talking about DXDAO. DXD, the token, the governance token that secures that. Well, it's basically an asset that, like DXD gives you rights to basically all the profits of all of the DXDAO ecosystem, which includes, I've mentioned this before, but Omen.eth, Mix.eth, DXSwap, there's another one I think, but I can't remember. But anyway, I mean, Omen.eth, that's doing very, very well. You know, millions are transacting on that. Mesa.eth, oh, that's it. I didn't say Mesa.eth, that's right. Mesa.eth, decentralized exchange that's had a couple of initial offerings on it, like DMG, I believe, was initially launched on Mesa.eth, as well as Gaia, I believe, was launched initially on Mesa.eth, and those are both, that's running on the Gnosis protocol, which is also heavily undervalued in my opinion. Still, I mean, some of these decentralized protocols on Ethereum, some of these OG ones are heavily undervalued, and because they've been around for so long, they're not like these new alts that are coming onto the scene, but they've been doing it for years. Gnosis protocol, Melon protocol. I mean, there's a bunch of them. And DXSwap is basically forking Uniswap version 2, and allowing for, basically, from what I understand, decentralized governance of like fees on it, because right now when V2 launched, it was like a 0.05% fee for each transaction on Uniswap, so that automatically makes things a little more expensive when you're swapping assets on Uniswap. DXSwap, I mean, we'll see how big of a competitor it can be to Uniswap V2, but if it's anything close to it, I mean, DXD is going to pump hard. It's going to pump very hard. And it's only a $7 million market cap right now. Like, when I was first talking about it, it was like a $2 million market cap, I think. But still, it's super small. So that's still one of my top ones that I'm probably going to be accumulating more of that. I don't know. And then people are all hype on Polkadot, because that's about to launch pretty soon here. End of this month. It's going to be available for trading on every single major exchange. I mean, I'm sure Coinbase will list it. They haven't announced it yet, but they're going to. Binance is already going to list it. Kraken is going to list it. Basically, everyone's going to list that, and so the Polkadot ecosystem is doing well. Another Uniswap competitor, PolkaSwap, their governance token, Sora XOR, has done pretty well. I only got a small bag of that at like $20, but it shot up to like $100 at one point. I don't really know where it is now, but yeah, Polkadot itself is actually, when they're launching, they're going to do a basically kind of similar to like a stock split, or like what VeChain did, where they did 100-to-1 split. So it's not, I mean, it's just basically, it's not going to do anything other than each individual dot is going to be smaller. It's going to be worth less, but you're going to have more of them per dot that you initially had. So it's tough to get dot right now, because like there are certain exchanges that have the dot IOUs, but the thing is, unless they're a reputable exchange, I wouldn't trust it, because they're technically not, they're not trading yet. So I've gotten some on Gate.io, but I don't think that's open to U.S. residents technically. So I've had some issues with Gate.io withdrawing in the past, like back in like 2018, because I was a U.S. resident, but there was a period where they wanted me to submit KYC in order to withdraw, but I was somehow able to eventually withdraw. But I would be, and I did get back on there recently to get some dot, so we'll see what happens, see if I'm able to withdraw on there. Otherwise, yeah, might just have to wait until it's launched on like Kraken or Coinbase or something like that. But by then it might have pumped. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of what's going on, and I'm loving these green days. We're in a full-blown bull market, and I don't really see anything stopping it for quite a while here. So, all right, peace out.